Hey, good afternoon. My name is Mike. I'm one of the LaunchCode mentors. We're going to do a quick video today of how to upload our existing projects into GitHub. So as you know, Jim McKelvey, this is one of his big things. This is your personal resume that you take into your interview. You show him your GitHub account, and it shows you exactly not only what code you've earned, but what type of code you're in. It can really say a lot about you as a developer. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to make a directory, and this is just going to be a simple hello world program. Alright, so you'll notice I've created a file called helloworld.txt. Now, Git can store any type of file that you give to it, and so for right now we're just going to work with the txt file. Later on I'll let you be an exercise for the user to figure out how to upload your C code, but it's essentially the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to initialize a Git repository locally on this machine. So if we type git status, you can see that there is currently no Git repository tracking the changes of our small project with helloworld.txt. And if we type in git init, that goes ahead and creates an empty Git home project, Git project, and what you'll notice is that this project is local to my machine. It doesn't exist on GitHub. It doesn't have anything to do with GitHub. They're each separate repos, and that's something really to remember, because it's one of the unintuitive parts of Git, is that each GitHub is its own repository, your local machine is its own repository. So let's keep going. I'll walk you through the steps. Alright, you'll see that we don't have anything, and we've got one untracked file, so let's go ahead and add that into our GitHub repository, our Git repository, our local Git repository. Now when we type git status again, that's great. Now we can see that these files are ready to be committed. So git commit essentially presses save on anything that you have staged. And staged is just a different way of saying anything that I've got in the special area called staged, I'm going to go ahead and commit. So anytime you want to save a file with Git, you have to stage it first, and then you type in git commit, and that'll save the version of it. And the -m just lets you leave a little note about what your commit does. A lot of times when you're committing in production, you'll have to include either the bug number or the version number that you're working on. Okay, you can see now that we have no unchanged files in our Git repository. Everything that we have done so far is up to date in the repo, and we don't have anything that's changed that's not being that's not in sync with our local repo. So now we can type in git log, and we can see that we made our first commit just a minute ago on March 16th. Alright, so that's the basics. You guys know how to do that. You guys know how to create a local Git repository. Let's talk about how we can upload this existing Git repository to GitHub. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over to the GitHub website. We're going to log in. We're going to press Create Repository. Now, this is an important page. This is the page that's going to give you all of the information of what you need to do. I mean, this gives you every single step of what needs to happen. But I'll show you in the video just to make it quick. we're going to give the repo a name. We're going to give it test repo 1. And we're going to just go ahead and click create. We can add the git ignore in later. Okay, great. So now we've got 2 instructions here. We've got, all right, if you haven't created a repository yet, you can go ahead and follow the first set of instructions, and that'll tell you how to get going from the very beginning. But since we have in fact already created a Git repository, we're going to follow the second set of instructions that say push an existing repository from the command line. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to add a remote repository to our Git configuration. And we do that by saying git remote add origin. And you'll notice that this address right here, this address up here, is actually that's actually the address of our repo with just a .git on the end. So if you remember, let me back this out real quick. Type in git status, type in git init. You'll see that, yeah, we do have a local repository, except it's our local address with .git at the end. And on GitHub is just the URL with git on the end. So that's the way it's going to work. Whoops, wrong command. Alright, so now that we've added this remote repository, we're able to push our code over. So we commit to our local machine, and then once we have enough commits, we can go ahead and push our code out to the GitHub repository. And we're essentially saying, okay, push to the origin, which we just added. The origin is this URL right here, and we're going to push the master branch. And that's all it takes. Now if we go ahead and switch back over to our GitHub account and take a look, you'll see that the file we added the first time is now in GitHub. It's being tracked, and we can even click on the commit that we did and we can see the change that we made. So the plus sign means that it's the plus sign, and the fact that it's green means that it was added. Now let's go ahead, let's make another change, and then we'll real quickly commit it and push it back up to GitHub just to demonstrate what a different change looks like, or how you can change the code after you've already worked on it. I'm going to take away all of that line. Added line. Go ahead and save it. We're going to type in git status. Okay, git status says, hey, I checked out your entire Git. I looked at your entire Git repository. It looks like you've modified one file. If you want to commit this file, use git add. So I'm going to say git add hello world.txt, hit tab to autocomplete the name. I can type in git status again, and it says, okay, great, this change is ready to be committed. So I say git commit -m. committed it. Now when I say git status, okay, great. Now it says, all right, the change we made is committed. We don't have any other changes on our repository that are not committed into our repository. So let's go ahead and push. You can just press up to use our previous command. And one important thing to notice, you'll notice right here, your branch is ahead of origin master by 1 commit. That means our repository that we have in our local computer is actually 1 commit ahead of the GitHub repository. So right here, by pressing enter, we're going to sync those two up, and they'll be in the same state. Okay, great. Let's check GitHub. We'll refresh the page. Okay, now here's the note that I committed just a second ago. We can click on it. Great. You can see that this file was edited into this and that we added several more lines. So it gives you a great way of viewing what's changed inside of a file, as well as collaborating with others to share code. Hey, thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys Monday.